They say you should never share your dreams with small minds. I didn't believe that until my boss stole mine. It was the kind of idea that keeps you up at night, your heart racing with possibility. An app that combined personal finance with behavioral psychology. It used gamification to help people pay off debt, boost savings, and break spending addictions. It wasn't just smart, it was personal. Because I had once been $37,000 in debt. Credit cards, medical bills, student loans. This idea had grown from the very trenches I'd crawled out of, and I had spent the last year building it in the shadows. After work, on weekends, with coffee-stained notebooks and code that kept breaking. Until I told him. His name was Russell, my boss, my mentor. The man who shook my hand 3 years ago when I joined his fintech company as a junior product manager. He was charming in that TED Talk charisma kind of way, always wearing turtlenecks, dropping quotes from Naval Ravikant, and tossing around phrases like disruption and exit strategy. One day during a late-night work session, he asked, "What would you build if you could start your own thing?" And like an idiot, I told him, I pitched the app, I explained the pain points, I showed mock-ups. He listened, nodded thoughtfully, and said, "That's actually brilliant." I smiled. My heart swelled. 2 weeks later, he stopped replying to my messages. 1 month after that, I saw the press release. Fintech CEO announces revolutionary new product to tackle personal debt through gamified behavior. The screenshots were mine. The tagline was mine. Even the name, Pennywise, was mine. I stared at the article on my screen in disbelief. My jaw clenched so tightly I thought I'd crack a molar. His smug face beamed from the header image, holding my idea like it was his newborn child. And worst of all, he didn't even mention me. I was in the office when it dropped. People gathered around their monitors, buzzing with excitement. "Russ is a genius," someone said. "This could be the next Mint." I laughed, out loud. Heads turned. "You okay?" my coworker Melissa asked. I looked at her like someone who had just watched their house burn down. "No," I said, "I'm really not." I didn't confront him right away. That's not how you play this game. You don't show your cards when the thief still thinks he's holding all the aces. So I smiled at him during meetings, nodded when he talked about his innovation, took notes when he gave interviews. And behind the scenes, I built my own version. Better, faster, cleaner. He had stolen my concept, but he didn't understand the soul of it. The real insight, the behavioral triggers that made it sticky. He just grabbed the surface-level features and rushed them to market. He had no idea I had already moved on to version 2.0. I quit a month later, told HR I was pursuing another opportunity. Russell shook my hand at the goodbye party, grinning. "Let me know if you want to come back someday." I wanted to punch him in the face. Instead, I said, "Thanks, Russell. I'll let you know." He thought I was walking away defeated. What he didn't know was that I had spent the last 30 days building a founding team. A CTO I met in a Reddit thread, a UX designer who had worked at Duolingo, a growth hacker who'd helped scale a budgeting app in Brazil. We had an MVP, a beta list, even early testers. We called it Debt Hawk. It wasn't a cute name like Pennywise, it was aggressive, sleek, razor sharp, like we were coming for blood, because we were. 6 months after launch, we had 75,000 active users. Russell's app? Buggy, bloated. Users hated the gamification. It felt patronizing. One reviewer wrote, "Feels like a knockoff of something better." That something was us. We got featured on Product Hunt, then TechCrunch, then Bloomberg. I gave the interviews now. I sat in the hot seat wearing a hoodie, sipping coffee, explaining how we built trust with our users by actually understanding debt from the inside out. We weren't just helping people, we were building a community. People posted screenshots of their debt disappearing like trophies. We raised $4 million in seed funding, and that's when I got the email from Russell. "Hey, really impressive stuff with Debt Hawk. Would love to chat sometime. Maybe there's a partnership opportunity?" I stared at it for a long time. Then I replied with a single sentence, "You had your chance." He didn't take it well. Suddenly his lawyers were sending cease and desist letters, claims that I had built Debt Hawk using IP I created while working under him. He even accused me of stealing his idea. The audacity would have been funny if it weren't so serious. But here's what he didn't know. I had documentation, emails, Slack messages, time-stamped prototypes. I even had audio clips from when I first pitched the idea, recorded during that late-night meeting on my own device, because I often recorded brainstorming sessions for later review. I hired a killer IP lawyer, the kind who eats suits like Russell for breakfast. Within 2 weeks, we responded with a 47-page dossier of evidence. My lawyer's final message was simple. If Mr. Grayson wishes to proceed, we will gladly meet him in federal court. We never heard from them again. Months passed. DebtHawk hit 500,000 users. We built forums, debt coaching modules, and referral programs. We became the app for Gen Z and millennials trying to break out of the debt spiral. Russell's app quietly disappeared from the App Store. No farewell post, no apology, just gone. I heard through the grapevine that investors pulled out, that his CTO quit, that he tried launching another product, but no one bit. Funny how that works. You can steal an idea, but you can't steal execution, and you definitely can't steal heart. Last month, I gave a talk at Stanford. They invited me to speak on ethical entrepreneurship and resilience. A student asked during Q&A, "What would you say to someone who had their idea stolen?" I paused, looked straight at her, and then said, "Build it anyway, just better, louder, sharper, make the thief wish they had never laid eyes on it." The room went silent. Then they erupted in applause. I stepped off that stage feeling 10 feet tall. Now, every time I see Russell's name pop up on LinkedIn, I smile. Because he thought stealing my idea would bury me. Instead, it gave me something I never had before: fire. He wanted to be a legend in fintech. He just didn't realize the only thing he'd be remembered for was getting outsmarted by the person he tried to screw over. And if you're reading this, Russell, next time you want to steal something, steal a chair and sit the hell down. Ask ChatGPT.